Welcome to the show. Now please strap in for the truth and remember the words of the great Tom Cruise.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Now welcome to Off Topic on Porn.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, OTOP watchers and listeners. It's time for another episode, and it's also time for not only me, but our friend James, who's back with us again this week, to offer some commentary on some things that are going on right now. So, James, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, Russell. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Yeah, well, likewise here. So, it's kind of been a busy week politically, but I've noticed, and I think you've alluded to this before, sometimes the mainstream media doesn't really report on things that are happening, or if they do, they're not reporting on significant events that are negative to the left. So I guess that's where we and other podcasters come into play. We'll try to fill in the blanks as we go on some of these issues, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
All right. For example, now something that at first strike just seems like a problem that everybody would feel bad about and hope that this could be dealt with well, would start off that way, actually ends up probably having international political and ideological commentary being offered on it. And that, what I'm talking about, is these fires in Spain and France.
Right.
So what about those, James?
Yeah, the thing about that's so devastating is the fact that you have these major population centers, the cities of Bordeaux, the cities of Madrid, and these fires are encroaching upon these major population centers. I mean, obviously, in our pre-meeting, we talked about what's going on in Canada, and of course, it wasn't that long ago that California was racked by fires.
Yeah, and right now,
even in Los Angeles.
And Canada's having a bunch of wildfires too that's affecting the northern part of the United States.
Absolutely. There's something going on in this world. I think it's early to say whether it's of a biblical proportion, because I don't recall in scripture there being a mention of fires and alongside famines and rumors of wars. But there's something going on in this world. I know that the safe answer is climate change. Yeah. But of course, that seems to be the catch-all. Yeah, that seems to be the catch-all for everything. But of course, what happened, I think fires have always been around since, wood and heat was combustible.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not sure about that one. I think we're seeing more devastation to human civilization because, obviously since the world is more populated. Yeah. It affects more people. Yet I'm sure 500 years ago, I'm sure there was a wildfire in North America that probably took out, half the land or something like that. But we just don't hear
maybe
about
it's caused by a bolt of lightning or something.
Right.
A lightning
Exactly.
strike. Yeah. It could be.
Yeah. It's just we're living in a day and age where everything has to be politicized. Everything's has to fit towards some grid. You can't even just say, let's pray for the people of France and Spain. Let's assign some political reason and some agenda to push.
Right. Yeah. They call it virtue signaling, among other things.
Yeah.
Usually it's non-virtuous virtue signaling. So
right, exactly.
And climate change. Remember, it was global warming.
Right.
And that got very thoroughly refuted. Challenged and refuted, so they changed it to climate change. Well, climate change, it's like grape nuts. It doesn't really say anything, and it doesn't speak accurately to the thing that it allegedly talks about, because grape nuts is neither grape nor nuts.
Right.
Right. And this is neither really the climate or change in the climate, because as I was asking you in our pre-meeting, what are they saying when they say climate change? Do they mean that climate change just came along and started a fire?
Yeah.
Or are they saying that climate change is keeping rain from falling so that it's not putting the fires out? I mean, what are they really saying here?
Yeah, exactly. I think they're saying this the dryness of the climates. I mean, even down here in Texas, we're recording the show from Texas.
Yes.
In Corpus Christi, they're talking about the city running out of water. Of course, you probably seen that on the news.
Yeah.
Because we're not getting enough rain
Yeah.
in parts of the
And
world for all of a
yet we
sudden.
had that big rainstorm up north of San Antonio, and it created enough flow down the Guadalupe River that it has done things like fill up Canyon Lake and Lake Medina and other
Yep.
bodies of water here in this area. And of course, I think that doesn't go down to Corpus. But the point I'm making is that it depends on where in Texas you're looking.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And what do you say about the flooding? Oh, climate change, hurricanes, climate
Yeah.
change,
Yeah.
droughts, climate change.
Flat feet, climate change. I mean, everything's blamed on that, right? Or
Right,
whatever the
yeah.
complaint of the moment is. So,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I do hope the people in Spain and France and Canada and every other place where there are wildfires, I do hope that they get these things under control. I mean,
Absolutely.
certainly don't wish anything ill on the citizenry of these peoples around the world. And hopefully the governments in those places will do more than just politicize something that really should not be politicized.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We have organizations like the American Red Cross or the International Red Cross that do
Yeah.
wonders in going into these places. We need to be supporting people like that because
Yes.
these people, hey, politics aside, we do care about people on this show and in the community of faith. We don't want to see anyone perish. We don't want to, even in God's word, he says that he doesn't want anyone to perish, but let everyone come to repentance. So
Yeah, that's right.
and we got to protect and preserve human life. That's part of our Christian ethic. Even our ethic here in America, we want to protect people.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
it's altogether very sad.
We may disagree with people, but we do not have angst, at least not to that level, against people.
Yeah, that's true. And to me, it would be interesting to see what the U.S. response has been. I haven't really kept up on it enough because obviously the wildfires are still, everything's still ongoing. But I bet you anything that the Americans are probably going to be the biggest supporters of Spain and France, even though these two nations are sharply very anti-American.
Yeah.
They've not supported the U.S. in its fight against Iran or working to settle these disputes over the Strait of Hormuz or anything like that.
Yeah.
They're not even in England. I remember reading they're not even allowing American aircraft to refuel.
Yeah.
And to enter European space. They're doing things like that. They're very hostile to American interests right now. But that's something that's about America. We'll still help you, even though you don't help us.
Yeah. 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 Very true. Well, anything else you have on this global wildfires issue?
No, that's about it.
All right. Well, let's turn our attention now to one of your favorite people, Mayor
Yes.
Mamdami of New York.
My favorite.
Of course,
yes.
I'm joking with you, of course.
Right.
And he has been putting he's been putting his foot in his mouth, basically, where Benjamin Netanyahu is concerned. And so I just wonder if you had any observations on that.
Oh yes, of course. New York Mayor, Mr. Mamdami and Mamdani.
I'm sorry,
Zohran,
I call him Mamdami sometime, and I know I confuse people.
That's
when
fine.
It's Mamdani,
Hey,
though.
freedom of speech. Zohran Mamdami, New York's first Muslim mayor. He's a socialist Democrat, and he hates Israel. He says he doesn't hate Jewish people, but he hates Israel and the country. So he's one of those socialist Democrats who likes to walk that fine line.
Yeah.
I don't hate all Jewish people, just the ones I virulently disagree with. Well, wait a second. Why does that have to enter into the picture?
We don't hate all mayors of New York, just the one that we have
right.
strong disagreement with.
Right. Here's a man who's trying to make a name for himself politically. He's calling on the arrest of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who happens to be in New York right now.
Yeah.
And he says there's an arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court that he called on the Trump administration to execute, to support. President Trump has said that's not going to happen. Benjamin Netanyahu will not be arrested in New York. And the mayor has pretty much admitted that he didn't have the power to do that anyway. But, you know, hey, you know, it's a good thing that the mayor of New York has nothing better to do with his time but to pursue these political games.
Yeah.
You know, this is a city that needs to rebuild its infrastructure, needs to keep the streets safe. In fact, about a week ago, an Asian man and a Jewish man was stabbed.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
that was in the news. And there's people that says, hey, you know what, Mamdami, you're making it worse by saying these things and, you know, calling Israelis and Jews baby murderers. You're committing genocide in Gaza. That only fans the flame. You're throwing gasoline on the problem.
And of course, he doesn't care about people telling him that. What people need to do is say, actually, the things that you're saying, Mr. Mayor, you're the one that's guilty of those things. You're the one that needs to have an arrest warrant put out against them because you are proffering not only hate speech, but you are proffering an encouragement for people to commit riotous acts, which is illegal. You can't do that. And then you are trying to turn people against an ally that this nation has. And you are not proffering an opinion that the United States government has, on any level, has any business proffering. I don't care if you've got some idiot, and we do have some idiot representatives up in who climb together and say really unintelligent things about the whole issue, but they are not speaking for the official government position. And not only that, but they probably should have some arrest warrants put out for them also. Where's the International Criminal Court when you need it, James?
Right, exactly. Where's the sheriff?
And I wanted to say, you know, when it comes to the arrest warrants of the International Criminal Court, which has no power here, in the words of the immortal Matt Foley, that and a nickel will get you a nice hot cup of Jack Squat.
Right.
I mean, who cares, Mayor Mamdani, if you don't know that is completely irrelevant, then you're really far less intelligent than even I thought you were.
Right.
And even if you didn't know, you should have known that. There's just certain things that heads of different states should know, or, you know, people who are in executive positions in government, like, for example, mayor of the largest city in the United States.
Yeah, you would think they would know that. You would think
well, it's his responsibility to know that.
Right. He has advisors.
To act accordingly. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, even down here, we're in San Antonio. San Antonio has a Department of International Affairs that does things like advise city leaders to say, hey, this is how you this is how you cultivate relationships with the international community. And so I'm pretty sure New York has that.
Yeah.
But I want to point out something, Russell, that I find just maddening. The fact that you have certain Jewish people in New York that still support the mayor of New York. Because
I mean, is that the opposite of smart or what?
Yeah. And I say that because these supporters don't realize that, yes, you may agree with him on his politics, his socialist or liberal politics, but the man is an enemy of you, because if you strip Jewish people of their identity, their face, their, everything about them, and you reduce them to a race, a people, that's the first step towards racism. The Holocaust happened because the German people, the Nazi regime was successful in stripping Jewish people of their identity.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. In Germany at the time, there were Jewish people who tried to de-Jewishize themselves, even prior to Hitler, because they were wanting to be a part of the culture and all that, and it did not save them. And the thing that these secular Jews that are, I mean, it's just so bizarre that they're anti-Israel.
Yes,
What they need to understand is that none of this stuff is going to protect them. Muslims do not like you, at least not of Mamdani's ilk.
Yep.
And they do have a target on your back, even if they act like right now they don't. Their incrementalism is true. And if you do not open your eyes, you are foolish.
Yes.
You shouldn't be letting a bunch of Gentiles like us open our eyes for you. You should be opening your eyes as well.
Yeah, I agree. I
And
agree.
it's extremely foolish. It's extremely foolish to support the idea that Israel does not have a right to defend herself or to go to war against a hostile
Right.
misbehavior on the world scene like Hamas. And so all this rhetoric that's been going on for what, almost 2 years now
Mm-hmm.
against Israel
Yeah.
is all of that is pure propaganda. And
Absolutely.
unfortunately, it's taken over some venues of people, or he's taken over the podcast anyway, of some people that allegedly used to be on the right. I don't know where Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and some of these other people are anymore. I don't know I don't even know what to call them. I mean, there's names I could call them, but those names wouldn't be fruitful to use here. But yeah, it's so he should know better. And the fact that he's appealing to that Mamdani is appealing to the International Criminal Court as though it had some bearing on something just shows you it doesn't do anything tangible that will make any difference where Netanyahu's visit to the United States is concerned. But what it does show you, or should show you, is where he's coming from. And so, I'll tell you who does notice this, no less a liberal Jew than Professor Alan Dershowitz.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
taking him to task. He's taking Mamdani to task strongly, and he's taking these Jewish people you're talking about to task also, and rightly so. More and more, I'm having a greater and greater appreciation for Professor Dershowitz. That man, I may not agree with him, and you also don't agree with him on a lot of political issues, but the man is one of the few guys that I won't even say he's on the left, because I don't think he is. He's just a liberal, and he's got integrity. He's got great integrity, and I've always been impressed with him.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And I think this reminds me of a clip, an interview that Mayim Bialik was had released.
Yeah.
She, of course, was on the TV show Blossom as a kid, and she was also on The Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
She played one of the scientists, and of course, Mayim Bialik has a PhD in real life. She's an actress, just very, very socially liberal, very democratic leaning in her orientation, like most Jewish people are, in America are. And she herself has come out and said, when you start pushing for the destruction of Israel, and things of that nature and that ilk, that's where she has to draw the line. And I think one of the things that a lot of Jewish Americans are experiencing is that on the one hand, there's certain things that they believe in, social justice, fairness, equality, opportunity. They're against things like hate and discrimination, but they're realizing that, wait a second, what if that hate's what's going on? This hate is being turned towards me as a Jewish person, they were saying. And they're saying, wait a second, this is even coming from the left. It'd be one thing if this was coming from neo-Nazi skinheads, but this hate is coming from members of their own party.
Mm-hmm.
And it's causing a very difficult position for, I think, a lot of American Jews.
Well,
and
it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
You see the warning signs, and you heed what the warning signs tell you.
Yeah.
Or you can keep battling with it and pretend like that you're being virtuous when you're not, by embracing ridiculous stuff that is self-destructive for you.
Yeah.
That's,
I agree.
Me, I get strong in my commentary, but somebody's got to be strong, don't you think, James? I mean,
right. Well, yeah, this is life and death. This is not just political discourse.
Right.
Like this Jewish man who was stabbed a week ago in New York. There are people out there that are stepping up their attacks against Jewish people. Even in New York, I was reading that Hate crimes against Jewish New Yorkers is up like 2 or 3%. And it didn't sound like much, but you know what? If you are one of those people walking down the street, you do care about that. And so this is real. This is not an academic exercise. This is not about free speech or who to vote for, And I think maybe I could be completely wrong on this, but maybe perhaps this was something similar to what Jewish people in Germany felt.
Yeah.
As far as this incremental rise in persecution and attacks and things of that nature, it just starts off as a slow boil, a trickle, and then before you know it, if left unchecked, it turns into full scale property confiscations, the ghettoizations, eventually murder. We pray that doesn't happen in America.
Yeah.
But that's why I think we need to be vigilant. We have to protect people of all races, especially the Jewish people.
Yes.
At all costs.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Because the thing is that if our OTOP listeners don't realize this, if people are free to go after one group, eventually they can go after you, whatever group.
And they will.
Yeah.
And they will. The true Marxist, socialist, communist, leftist, I think I was thorough there. That person isn't friends to anyone except perhaps those that are in their closest inner circles.
Sure. Themselves.
Everybody else is a resource to enrich themselves and empower themselves. And they will always do it under the guise of helping you, because that's how they can get you to support them as they get ready to destroy you.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking, we have example after example after example after example in history and in the modern world where this has happened or is happening in leftist, communist, socialist, Marxist nations.
You're absolutely right. We should get some of the folks that we know that are from Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
And they can tell you a few things about being part of the other, whatever that other is. You may be Catholic and Protestant is the other, or you may be the person where the Jewish person is the other, or the Black person, or the Gypsy, or the whoever the minority group is, and the guns get turned on them, so to speak, metaphorically speaking. Some cases, literally. This is not a good environment for anyone to be in. We must go back to our American founding father principles. All men are created equal. We have certain unalienable rights. Doesn't matter who's in power. No government gives us our rights. We talked about that in an earlier podcast. The wonderful thing about America is that the founding fathers recognize that we are created in the image of our God, our Creator, and no state, no government, no party recognizes these things.
Yeah.
So it is always wrong.
The secularist thinks that it all begins with the government.
Yeah.
And it's very ignorant. People who don't actually honestly think things through are the ones that embrace that sort of thing. But there's a lot of them, and a lot of them graduate from universities and get advanced degrees and all, and they still embrace foolishness, intellectual foolishness.
And they get jobs at Starbucks. No offense to Starbucks.
Well, they get jobs there, but they also get jobs with law firms and get jobs in Congress and all. So, they get jobs in university and high school and junior high school positions.
Yeah.
And so that they can, what's that?
Places where they can exert influence on people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the reason these people are so rapidly doing that is because the only thing in their nature that they have driving them is their own selfishness.
Yeah.
And so however they see things, everybody else is going to, whether everybody else likes it or not, and they're going to make sure it happens. And this onslaught has been going on against our nation from within for decades, really since before I was born. This is going on. And it's only been very recently that some people have started effectively pushing back. But there's just no way, there's no way we should have ever gotten to the point, James, where we have self-professed communists, socialists, Marxists holding positions in our government. We should never have gotten to that point. And the fact that we have gotten to that point shows how effectively the left has been at dumbing down and rendering ignorant the younger generations. Now, I know there's people in our congregation that don't like me saying stuff like that. I'm sorry, I'm not going to tailor what I'm saying because some people who shouldn't be offended at me saying it are getting offended anyway. I'm not talking about all young people. You know that, James.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Some
know,
young
I know.
people, yeah,
I personally know, and you do too, plenty of millennials and
right.
Gen Xers and
Zs,
Gen
yeah.
Zers and
Yeah,
so forth
yeah.
that are very moral and upstanding and have a
Yeah,
proper
strong in
perspective
their
and don't
faith.
subscribe to this junk. But the overwhelming majority of people who do subscribe to it also come out of those generations. And it just,
Yes.
back to my point, it shows the effectiveness that the left has had in stealing their brains away from them and filling their brains with pollutants. And that's intellectual pollutants.
Yeah.
And that's why they blindly subscribe to the things that will not only destroy us, but will destroy them eventually too.
Yes, exactly. I agree.
Well, on that happy note, brother. Oh, do you have something else to say?
No, just to point out, I saw a funny meme I was going to tell you about, but it's really not that funny. But I thought it was interesting.
Okay.
It's worth a chuckle.
Okay.
It was posted by a Jewish Israeli person that said that the war in Gaza resulted in the deaths of, whatever the percentage of. He was saying at this rate, it's going to take like 800 years to complete its genocide. Israel's doing a horrible job if it's engaging in genocide, which I don't mean
Oh,
to.
because of the numbers that are being reported versus the
Right, yeah.
population.
If you
Yeah.
think, I think maybe 50,000 people have passed.
Yeah.
50, 55, 56,000, something
Yeah,
like that, which is tragic.
Yeah,
But it's
of
not,
course.
it's not genocide because,
No.
to be genocide, every person in Gaza, every person in Palestine would have to be killed. And that's not the case.
Genocide, an example of genocide, is the final solution from Nazi Germany.
Right.
That's an example of genocide.
Exactly. And it's interesting you say that because the term genocide actually was actually coined by someone with the UN who was Jewish. And
Yeah, that's right.
He had
Yeah.
to come up with a word to describe the type of violence against the Jewish people. 6 million Jews. Okay, well there you go. That's only solely based on race.
Those that were generated within a particular ethnic kind were going to
That's
destroy
it.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. They didn't commit any crime. Their only crime was that they belonged to this certain race. That's it. And that's not what's taking place. We had the situation with even with Mayor Mamdami.
Mamdami, yeah.
Where he keeps repeating the same lie.
Yeah.
There's genocide in Gaza, genocide in Gaza, genocide in Gaza. That's part of the problem.
All right.
There's this narrative that keeps getting repeated, and then it's not even true. It's false. They're all lies.
Yeah.
There is
like
no
everything else that
genocide
he
in Gaza.
says.
Right.
Like every single thing else that he says publicly. So,
Right.
well, as I was going to say a while ago, on that happy note, we probably need to draw this to a close. We're just about out of time here. And James, I want to remind everybody that I will be out of pocket the next few weeks. And so you're it, brother. It's going to be the James Aldridge show. And so with that in mind, I'm going to turn over the closing of this to James. James, you want to send us out?
Absolutely. Thanks so much. I appreciate the opportunity. And with respect to Russell and myself on the Off Topic On Point show, you don't always have to be on topic. You can be off topic, but you must always be on point.
All right. Well done. Good night, everybody. And
Good
good
night.
day and good life. We'll see you. Well, he'll see you next week. Blessings.
Blessings.